G'day guys, Carla from Abigail Travel. Today I've got a new power bank and I want to show it to you. So everyone knows that I love four-wheel driving, camping and just getting out there. I also got a new hammock too. This thing is unreal. There's going to be another video on this, so definitely check the video out on that because I think everyone's going to want one of these. So the new power bank, Bluetti EB55, 700 watt, 537 watt hour lithium power bank. Not very heavy, like most power banks. This one's a little bit different to my last one. So capacity wise, it's a bit smaller and I'm not sure if capacity is going to be enough for me. Right now we're at 40%. It's been running the fridge for a little bit over 18 hours. I want to show you everything on this and why I like it and why I think it's going to be a good thing. It's got a heap of ports on it. So obviously your SIG style port, it's got two barrel connector ports. I actually have some camp lights that take one of these barrel ports, heap of USB-A outputs, and got a fast charging USB-C output. Got dual input as well, so you can actually charge off AC and off solar. We will get back to the charging though. So it's actually got a 700 watt inverter built into it. And I know what you're thinking, for a small unit, do you really need a 700 watt inverter? Running power through an inverter is going to drain it pretty quickly. But the main reason I like this, I use an electric chainsaw. So what the inverter means for me is instead of taking a heap of chainsaw batteries, I can now just charge them on the run, which I do like that. Admittedly, you can get a SIG style socket charger for like Ryobi batteries, but I still think that's a cool feature. I think it's a good idea to have a built-in inverter. Obviously, you're probably not going to run a coffee machine or a toaster or anything like that, but still handy nonetheless. Other things that I think is really cool as well is it's got a wireless charger. So as you can see, she's taking charge right now. That's pretty cool, really. Like wireless charging, 700 watt inverter, heaps of USB outlets, USB-C fast charge outlet. The barrel connectors aren't so common in Australia. And the other thing is it's got a light, an LED light built on the back. I'll insert some footage of that. So that's just low mode, high, and then got like a SOS mode as well. It draws next to nothing. I feel it's a light that you're actually going to use, which is kind of cool. So the EB55, it's not an overly big unit, but the dimensions are pretty good because it's pretty small. I'll get the exact measurements of it. But the size is actually quite compact, and then it's very sort of square, easy to pack, which I like about that. I think it's probably a better shape than my last one. It's got a lot in it for a little unit. Admittedly, we don't have a lot of sun out here, but we'll hook the solar panels up and we'll put some charge into it. One thing I don't like about the solar input is my solar panels have an Anderson connection, whereas Bluetti plug is a CH4 plug. I did have to buy an adapter from CH4 to Anderson, not a big deal. I think I might have left this too late in the day to get some solar. I don't really have much sunlight or heat. Might be able to get a little bit of charge. She's trying. It's not looking good. I'll have to plug the solar panels in the driveway and we'll see what she actually takes in with decent sun. We got the solar panels hooked up, full sun, and I don't know what's going on, but I still can't get solar input into it. Let's see. Light comes on. So definitely power at the plug. I'll look into that more. Not 100% sure what's going on there, but if you can't get solar into this thing, it's definitely only going to be good for an overnighter. We'll just point out that Bluetti has an MPPT charger built in. I tried using just the Bluetti's charger, and I also tried using the regulator that comes with my solar panels, and no luck either way. One thing I want to show you about the Bluetti EB55 is it has dual inputs for charging. Now, I know what you're thinking. Where am I going to use dual inputs? So, well, I've got an idea. I don't know if it's going to work, but this here is SIG socket to the car. As you can see, it's charging. This here is the mains. Now I've got this running off a little CAN inverter, 77 watts. Let's put this one in as well and see what we get to. I think we're overloading the poor little CAN inverter. The little CAN inverter doesn't quite have enough power to run that. So the idea's there, but it doesn't quite work. If you've got a decent inverter in your car, I would say that it would be able to actually power this. So you see, we're pulling 75 watt in, them fans are kicked in as well. So this one's sucking air in, and then that one's blowing air out. So just so it charges fast and doesn't get hot. This rate it'll take a little under 6 hours to charge. One thing I want to show you, I'll just turn the fridge up so the compressor kicks in. My gut feel is that you'll be able to actually charge this whilst running appliances off it, providing the input's greater than the output. One thing I don't like about the EB55, the input cable, it's actually very short. So I like to have my fridge on this side of the car, and then I like to put my battery bank down there, whereas this cable won't actually reach that. But it's not a major issue. I've set my car up so I can change which way the fridge goes, so I'll just put the fridge on the other side. Now, because we're still running our test, we're not actually going to run that. We'll drain the battery right down, and we'll see how long we can keep beer cold for. At 24 hours, needs to be charged. We're on the fridge straight, but the fridge is still running. Finally ran out of puff, 27 hours, ran the fridge. She's just stopped working now. One thing I do want to show is when the charger's plugged in, the fan constantly goes. And I think that's because it charges at such a great capacity. So you're looking at 193 watts. Charging up the Bluetti EB55, it's 3 hours. A little bit under 3 hours to charge it to 100%. So that's pretty good. Got a lot of things plugged into this at the moment. Fridge is plugged in. Got the Ryobi chainsaw batteries charging. Actually running a lamp just for the sake of running it. Phone by fast charge. Got iPad on charge. And I'm actually charging the GoPro that I'm filming on whilst doing it. And what are we doing? Pulling 89 watts. So even with all this gear, you're looking at a little bit over 5 hours, maybe 5.5 hours, something like that. We will just go through a few of the tech specs on it. It's a lithium power bank, 537 watt hours. What that equivalates to is about 24 amp hours. So when you look at the capacity of it, it is quite small. But it did run that fridge for 27 hours, which if you're just doing overnight trips, it's going to be enough. If you set solar up, you're never going to have a drama with it. It's also good for 2,500 cycles, so which means you can just keep depleting the battery. So let's be realistic, 2,500 cycles is a lot of cycles, so it should be a lifetime worth of use. As you've seen, it's definitely got a lot of uses. All the outputs on it, it makes it very handy. We've run quite a lot of different things off it since we've had it. And I think it's okay. I think it's a good bit of gear in that sense. I like that you get different recharging options. Overall, I think the Bluetti EB55 is a good option. I just don't think it's quite right for me with capacity wise. For more info though, I'll put Bluetti's website down below. Check them out there. They do have a heap of different power banks, different options. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. And until next time, go travel.